Okay, great. So hi Bailey. Sorry, Kenzie. I don't know why I keep on calling you Bailey. I'm so sorry. Kenzie, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a long week, but hey, we made it to Friday, so I'm feeling good.
Oh Lord. And how was your day?
Good. It was kind of long. I got to at least take one break today and FaceTime one of my friends, which was like the best part of my day. But other than that, I just had some work to do, and I have the duty phone, so it's been
Work.
busy, but it's been good.
Okay. And do you have anything planned for the weekend? Anything fun?
I think right after we're done with this, I might go get some Chinese food, which I'm excited for, and then chill out. Just hang out.
Well, you need it.
Mhm.
You don't always have to be learning. You need to have some social interactions and
So,
go out and have fun while staying safe, of course.
yes.
That's great. Okay. So, can you or do you want to talk about, your expectations for this session?
Yeah. I think for me, so it might sound bad. I'm pretty good at like self-identifying my strengths. Like I wasn't really surprised by any of my results.
Hmm.
Um, but I think my goal is to kind of look at how I can apply them more so professionally, if that makes sense. Like just because right now, like I'm a second year grad and I'm going through the job search and everything like that. And I just want to learn how I can apply my strengths within my future careers, um, and things like that.
Okay. Well, that's an attainable goal, and I'm hopeful and I'm confident that by the end of this session, we would do something like we would make headway in this goal.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So what what was your first strength?
Humor.
Hmm,
Hmm.
that's one interesting one. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about it?
Yeah. So I was not honestly really surprised by I'm surprised that it was like my very top strength, but I'm not surprised that it was included. Um, it's weird that it's my number one because I kind of feel iffy about it. Like I feel like I definitely use it a lot, but I want to make sure that I'm using it appropriately. Which for the most part I feel like I do, like in my opinion, but it'd be nice to hear about like the opinion of, people that I work with. I feel like I use humor a lot just because like my current position can be very stressful. So I think that that is my strength in using humor is like making relationships with other people, like easing the tension a little bit when it comes to like stressful situations. But yeah, I feel I definitely use it like daily. Like I'll use it like I'll crack a joke here and there just to kind of lighten up the mood, but it surprised me that it was like my number one.
Hmm. And what about your second? That's love, right?
Yes. Yep.
Did that surprise you?
No. I feel like
Okay.
that I was expecting, love or kindness or something to be my top strength, but it was interesting that
Mhm.
it was humor.
So if you were given the chance to rearrange the strengths that you had or you discovered, how
Hmm.
would you arrange that from top to down?
I feel like humor would probably be like third.
Okay.
I feel like love would definitely be first. Um, and then kindness. Then, like I said, humor would be third, and then probably I would say like bravery and then hope, which hope is last, so I think it's fitting. But yeah, a little bit of a difference there. I think I got
Mm-hmm.
it right, but yeah.
But I mean, you don't have to make this define you, you know, because this is just an idea of what um you were. I don't know whether that's the definition for strength, but what you are good at doing,
Mhm.
right? So, I mean, you have these strengths within you. You don't have to necessarily itemize it. Like, number one is humor or something. I
Yeah.
feel like whatever is here is you, and that defines you. And so, how are you thinking, or how are you going to use um these strengths in your career goals, like, because right now you're looking for a job, so let's say you get a job, because I think humor would be great.
Mhm.
It would bring more people to you, and it would be easy for you to communicate with your teammates.
Yeah.
But how do you think it's gonna help you?
I mean, specifically when I think about humor right now, like, and not thinking of like present, but thinking about like the near future, I think about like just like the interview process. Um, just because I feel like that's how I'm gonna show my personality is through my humor, like obviously appropriately. But I think especially in the job interviews, that's what's gonna show them that I try to stay positive. And even if I'm talking about like a negative situation or example for an interview question, there's definitely a point where I'm going to try to make it humorous at some point. So I think that will help me there. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really great, very good, because I feel like during interviews, everyone is just tensed, and we're all um, uncomfortable. And having humor would be like an icebreaker. And if I were the interviewer, I'm sure I'm gonna give you the job, because I'm like, okay, so this girl can bring life into the team, and this is what we need, because everyone is just serious. Like, so what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? When you go for your interviews, the normal stuff. But bringing humor, that's I didn't even think about it that way, but that is a great use of that strength. So, what about your other strengths? Like, how are you going to incorporate it into your future goals or your career?
I think as far as my second strength, so love, like I said, my reflection, like I feel like I use this every single day. Um, just with like those around me, like those that I work with, like I'm very loving. Like it's just hard to describe, but like right now with my student staff, like I use it frequently. Like residents when they come to me and they need something, like my close friends, close family, like I'm just a very loving person. So I think in my career, it will definitely be to my advantage because obviously, like I'm gonna interact with people that I love and care about. It can be iffy if I, give people too much leeway at times, but for the most part, I think that's where my bravery comes in. So like the next strength, like I'm very loving, but if there is something that like I am very passionate about, I'll make that very clear. Like if there's something that's not right that's happening, like I'll be very vocal about it. So I think those two play really well together because it's like yes, I'm loving and caring, but also I know when to like stand up for myself and other people.
Mhm. I mean, that's great. Because I think that the first two, in fact, the five strengths are more human oriented. That shows you're actually human and not like a robot ready for work, and you don't really care about people. So I mean, it's great. It's great that you actually. But how did you feel like during this process? Were you comfortable doing it? Were you uncomfortable? How was the feeling?
I think I was pretty comfortable, but I think so. I honestly like I do things like this a lot, whether it just be like for my own personal, like I'm just very into like, you know, different assessments and things like that. So I think I'm so used to taking them that I just kind of like fly through the questions, like yes, this, um, which I'm still trying to figure out like if that's good or bad, if I should slow down a little bit, take my time more so. But I wasn't really uncomfortable. I was just kind of surprised. Like I said, like I know that I use humor frequently, but I was like, I never thought about that because it's like I don't think humor's included in a lot of the other assessments.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the biggest surprise to me, was like to get something that wasn't like people oriented. Like usually my strengths are like, oh, you're a people person, and oh, you're, very, communication, like things like that. But like humor, I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
So
So, because I know you just mentioned, you were surprised about humor being, the top strength. But what did you think were your strengths? If Okay, so let's say you didn't do this assessment, and I asked you, give me your five strengths.
mhm.
What would you say?
I feel like I always stick to like the basics. So I feel like when people ask me this in interviews, I'll say like, oh, very good at communicating, but I feel like that's almost too broad. So I could definitely like help narrow it down with these specific things, but I always just say like, oh, I am good at communicating, like I am very organized, like that type of thing. So I guess I
Okay.
didn't realize like how bland my interview answers were.
I think just from talking to you, I do see the love portion and the fact that, like, you're really kind. Um, and that is from, not from just this session. When we spoke earlier in Pete's class, you helping me out and all that. I'm like, because you don't even know me and you're ready to help me out. I mean, that was really great. So I think that, yeah, you do have the human portion, and yeah, you are good at communicating. And I think you're also good with, you know, I don't know whether I can use this word, but events planning, because you mentioned, you didn't say it here, but you mentioned, planning some stuff for the students in your hall. And I think it's actually a good thing, like just being creative and original.
Mhm.
It's also like a good strength that you have. So, are you planning to take more assessments, or this is it? Are you planning to work on these strengths that you have?
Mm, Yeah, I think these strengths are something that is going to be like my new, not like overall focus, but I've been very like strengths finder oriented, which is still cool. Um, like I have them at the top of my resume and stuff like that. But I definitely want to try to like integrate these specific strengths like into my interview answers if I can. Just because that's always the hardest part, is like, tell me about yourself, what are you good at? What are your strengths? And it's like I know them, but I don't ever know really how to articulate them.
Yeah.
So I think having these is like super, super helpful. I'm going to do like more research and figure out like how to best talk about them and, use them in examples and things like that.
Okay. That's good. Um, okay. So what are some um takeaways from this session? Like, what have you, what new thing have you learned about yourself?
I think I think that there's other ways to talk about my strengths and how I word them, like wording them very uniquely to me and not doing just like the broad overview terms.
Mhm.
Like I think when I got these results, I was like, I don't know if I could ever really talk about humor being a top strength like in an interview or something, but I definitely think after this that now I could, because I think that the way I frame it could definitely be very positive and things like that, like using humor with students,
Yeah.
getting through like high crisis intervention situations, like things like that. But I think just one thing to take away for me was that these aren't like cookie cutter things. Like that I can apply them however I really want to. Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. Okay, so do you have any questions for me, Kenzie?
No.
Yeah, good name.
Yes. No, I don't
Yeah,
think I'm all
no
good.
more Bailey.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been nice talking to you, and thank you for coming to my session. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, you can email me, text me, anything that works for you, okay?
Perfect.
And you have great Chinese food, have fun. You can mail some to me.
Yes.
Okay, so take care and have a great weekend,
Yes.
Kenzie.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay.
Do I dismiss? Okay. Who? I dismissed it. What does it mean?
Let's see if I can.
Okay, stop.